morning. So today we are talking about Meditation 101. And at first, when I was thinking about this conversation, I was like, I know the importance of it and I know why we need to do it. But as I started diving in to the real value of who meditation is for, which is for you, which is for me, for busy people, just the average people, and why it's so important. This is absolutely one of my favorite talks and one of my favorite talks to prepare for. So today we're going to talk about who, what, when, and why. At the end, this is going to be just a quick 10 minutes. I'm going to give you some of my favorite tips on how to meditate myself and a couple apps that I really enjoy. So the first thing is, who is it for? And like I said, is what I know for sure is society, just regular people, you and I benefit from understanding that we are not our busy mind, but what we are and what we can um, like work to be is the observer and kind of the leader of our mind, the leader of our body, and create the life that we deserve. So, meditation sometimes can feel like mystical and maybe slightly religious and all of these things. But I think as science jumps in with what meditation actually does for us neurologically, as the normal society jumps in and saying, hey, you don't have to move to the Himalayas. You don't have to sit in lotus for an hour to make this beneficial to you. We can break it down and make it something that everybody can do. And it can be a very important tool to our mental health, to our joy, to finding motivation to want to work out, to finding motivation to be kinder to our significant other or have better relationships. So, the reason why I'm doing this meditation talk is because this month we are doing a meditation challenge. So I encourage you to go to my Instagram, Coach Nikki Warren, and go into my link tree and join the meditation challenge. So you just put your email in, you'll get the PDF, and it walks you through week over week how to do the meditation challenge. So it's a 1 month challenge. You can start anytime. It's free to anybody. So you can send that link to any friends, and together we can say, okay, for this month, we are going to carve out a small amount of time. And again, at the end, I'll tell you the kind of the how to's of it for our mental pull ups or mental push ups. Very often, we just think our mind should behave. We spend a lot of time, most of us, on our career, in child raising, in maybe learning languages, or are working out or preparing food. But how often do we train our brain? So I want us to kind of think about meditation like our push-ups for our brain. And the more that we can know how important it is to train our brain every single day to continually point in the direction that we want, then the better that we will get at finding joy and calming down the clutter and the chatter, and just finding that peace in our life. Okay, so for meditation, these are the reasons why I meditate. You probably have a lot of different reasons, and if you don't mind, maybe chat in if you have certain reasons why you meditate. But for me, what I know for sure is that human beings make up stories in their head, and it's very hard for us to know the difference between reality and a story made up in your head. So think really quickly about maybe sometimes it's easiest to think about your significant other because you deal with them a lot. Is so say for me, I make dinner and all of a sudden everybody leaves and I'm doing the dishes and I'm stirring in my head. I'm making up all these you just think that my job is to clean and to cook and I work too and all this stuff. I'm creating this whole entire story in my head. And then instead of asking for what I want, or what I know for sure is every single hard conversation I have had with somebody, and I went into it with bravery and kindness and curiosity, that what I found on the flip side is that I made a big story in my head that was absolutely not true and not the perspective of somebody else. So for me, meditation is really understanding that my mind is going to make up a lot of different stories. And I need to take myself out of that chatter and take a big breath and and then look at what is actually reality and what are just stories in my head. So that's one reason why, it's just bringing awareness to what we think throughout the day. The next is teaching myself to be focused. And so when I sit down to meditate, I don't expect my thoughts to go away. And I don't even, that's not even in my hopes or dreams. What I work with when I meditate is the art of bringing myself into this moment, taking myself out of the past and out of the future, which past tends to be depression, future can tend to be anxiety. So pulling with like, if you're thinking about like the like pulling yourself out of like the negative emotions, those are like the negative emotions. Of course, we can have positive emotions to both of those as well. But what I do when I meditate is I just teach myself to be focused. So then when I have the opportunity to have lunch with my mom, and I can teach myself to put my phone away and continually look in her eyes, listen to what she's saying, feel all those feelings. And then when my mind goes somewhere else, I can teach myself to come back. So, why I meditate is to teach myself to be focused. Same with work, right? I'm working and all of a sudden I'm like, I want a snack. And then I'm like, oh, I need tea. And I'm like, I teach myself to come back to the present moment. Nikki, what are you working on right now? What is it that you're working on? So, and then from there is for the why for meditation is there is hundreds of benefits. So there's over 5,000 peer reviewed studies about the effects of meditation. And again, it doesn't have to be a big like hour of sitting. It doesn't have to be somewhere like in lotus pose. It can be right here. I'm at work. I can grab my little like meditation pillow or a blanket, sit down, lay down, whatever it is, and get all of these benefits. So the benefits are decreased likelihood of depression, or the less likelihood of relapse into depression. So we go in and out of different things. Less anxiety, better heart condition. So it actually improves our cardiovascular health, lowers the risk of heart disease, increases the serotonin and the access that we have to positive uh, hormones and positive chemicals in our body. And more than anything, is just it just sets us up to be a little calmer, to be a little more joyful. Okay, so let's get into the how. So we went over why, we went over who, and now the how to meditate. So I want you to, if, and I know some of you are driving or you're working and you can't, you can listen to this later on replay, or you can just write down notes. But I'd like to just think about our mind as an ocean. And so, like, sometimes I think about my mind as like Lake Tahoe because I live at the lake. So, whatever body of water that you can see right now, if you can see out the windows, it's very like rough and windy. And so, I want us to think about the top of the water as like really rough. And that's kind of like the top of your brain. So, it's like all those thoughts, and we're bouncing between everything. And it's like really hard for us to stay focused. Now, if you can, close your eyes seal your lips and take it just a deep breath. And I want us to visualize being on the top of that ocean where it's rough and it's all over the place, and then just gently sink down into the layers of calm. So as we breathe in, maybe just visualize yourself sinking below the crazy and then gently sinking into the calm. So for me, even just that one or two sentences, I could feel my body become 10% less tight. I felt kind of my head and my shoulders sink. And if that's all you did was in the beginning of the day, found yourself somewhere comfortable, I like to look out the window, set your timer on your phone, and just breathe for 1 or 2 minutes. So, the where to meditate is anywhere. When you wake up, you might want to just lay in your bed for 2 minutes and then just thinking about breathing, setting your intention to be calm. You might want to find yourself like a little meditation pillow or a block. I like to put my hips up just a little bit so then your legs don't fall asleep. So if you are able to sit with me, thinking about our posture, and all that does is like, so we've got the vagus nerve, and it's like vagal tone is one thing that's really positively affected by meditation, breathing, and relaxing. So your vagal nerve comes from like the base of your skull and then runs down into your heart. So if we can open up our chest a little bit, roll our shoulders down, pull your navel into your spine, so pull your belly button, and then just lightly rest your hands on your legs. And then just see if you can breathe in through your nose, the deepest into your diaphragm. So as you breathe in, maybe a count of 3, and then just hold just for a second till it feels really good to exhale. At the end of your exhale, just let that inhale fill up your lungs. Hold and then exhale. Just feel yourself softening, grounding into the earth. Just continue to breathe for just a moment more as I walk you through just a few things. So you can keep your attention pulling back to counting your breath. So my mind automatically goes to all my different thoughts, which is fine. All it is, it's like a file cabinet. So when I'm quiet, there's not a podcast, there's not anything going on. My mind is gently filing things that need to be filed. So as a thought comes into my head, I just kind of have like a little internal smile and I say, go ahead and file that thought. And then I come back to counting my breath. So sometimes counting your breath might work well. And then sometimes just bringing your thumb to your pointer finger and then just bringing the attention to how that feels from your thumb to your fingers. Breathing in and breathing out. So in our meditation challenge, the first week we challenge, we are taking a challenge together to meditate for like 1 to 5 minutes, and then as we progress through the challenge, we'll increase the time. But what I want us to know is that don't judge yourself, and if you don't have time at the end of the meditation to do 20 minutes, break up those 20 minutes throughout your day. So maybe in the morning, you might do 3 to 5 minutes. And then at lunch, you might walk around the building or around your house, set a timer for 5 minutes, and see if you can just notice the wind on your face. Just notice. And so, like for me, when I'm doing like Kaya workout, I use that as an opportunity to meditate. So I bring my attention into my body and stay right where I am. So as you're progressing through this meditation challenge, it doesn't have to be in a sitting pose. It can be anything, just bringing your attention back to that moment and then taking that any kind of tension in your body and just decreasing it a little bit. Okay, well, I hope this was helpful, you guys. Some of my favorite apps, and if you want to share some of your apps in the chat or with us on Instagram, again, my Instagram is Coach Nikki Warren. Um, I love Insight Timer. It is a great, if you like, it has like sleeping meditations, it has music, which is beautiful. It has like sound baths. It has just a regular timer, so you can set your timer. You can have like light music playing on the back through Insight Timer, and then it has like little yoga bowl when you're done, which is really fun, or little bells. But what I encourage you to do is just find something that you will do consistently and create a habit out of it, because it doesn't, there's not a lot of great effects if we don't utilize it as a tool for preventative medicine. I'm such a believer in preventative medicine. My whole family is in the healthcare profession, physicians, nurses, nurse practitioners, and I feel like I'm in the healthcare industry as well, but I'm preventative. So when we think about like depression, anxiety, things that we might need medication for, if we can start before we get to that point, before our family gets to that point, before our relationship falls apart, or before things are really horrible in our life, then we'll already have the tools to deal with life's hard things. So think about meditation as a tool in your toolbox of ways that every single day we train our mind to be a little more peaceful, calm, and joyful. So then when things do get rough, we're able to use this tool because we're already really well trained as medication instead of having to take medication. So I hope this was helpful. I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, jump on the meditation challenge. So go to Coach Nikki Warren or Kaya Fit on Instagram. Go into just my bio, and then you can sign up. All you do is sign up for it. We send you the PDF, and then we join together. So let me know if you're going to do it. 30 days of mental focus. Mwah. Love you all. Thank you.